All right, welcome. It's Thirsty Thursday. The Muller's coming at you almost every Thursday, talking about our thirst for knowledge as entrepreneurs and also what we're using today to quench our other thirst. Melissa, what are you drinking today?
So today I am drinking water out of our Kangen machine. So there was a time when David tried to convince me to buy this extravagantly expensive machine. And I was like, it's water. It's fine. We're not going to do that. I mean, it was so expensive, we had to actually put it on a card. So when he finally convinced me to get the machine after lots of education, I actually am very grateful and thankful because this water is delicious. And David just makes like these big, gigantic glass jars and puts them in the fridge. And then I have water at my disposal that is healthy. And David knows all of the things, but like pH balance. And you want to go a little bit into what the Kangen water is?
Yeah, well, it's great. I call it enhanced water, and what it does is it filters it and all that kind of stuff, but it also changes the pH balance so that it's high pH. You're probably drinking 9.5 pH water, which is pretty good. And the other thing that it does is it will also make super high, even higher than that, up to 11 pH water, and also very acidic water. So you can use just straight water coming out of this machine to rinse your vegetables, to get the chemicals that they spray on your vegetables off, because they're designed to stay on the vegetables so that the rain doesn't wash them off. So if you use, and I'm not sure exactly if it's the high or the low, but one of them is like a degreaser that can cut the grease and stuff off of your vegetables, your fruits and vegetables. But the other end of the spectrum actually can sanitize like your countertops and stuff. It cleans germs. And we're talking about just water, changing the pH balance of the water.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of cool. I don't have all the technical.
So that's what I'm drinking this morning is cool water.
Cool, clear water. Well, I'm drinking something a little bit different. Who drink coffee in the morning? Type in the chat. What do you drink in the morning? What's your go-to morning beverage? And I like, the pick-me-up drinks. What I'm drinking today is called Go, and I'll read you what it says about it. It's by Modere. It's Modere Go. Afternoon slump, meet your match. Modere Go is expertly formulated with alpha GPC, which is key vitamins and minerals, plus natural caffeine to provide balanced energy, focus, and alertness when you need it the most. Now, so what I've been doing, they designed this as a great energy drink for your afternoon pickup. There comes in a few different flavors. But this, I use it in the morning instead of coffee. And what you do is you just take this little packet and drop it in your bottle of water, shake it up, and you drink it. You've seen a lot of those. What I do is I actually put it in hot water and drink it like tea. Now, this makes a full bottle of water, and so I actually only have to put like half the packet in for a cup like this. And is that the
acai?
A lot of the same effects that coffee does.
Is that the acai pomegranate flavor?
Yes, this is the acai pomegranate flavor. I'm actually drinking the orange flavor, though. I like my favorite for breakfast.
Orange is my favorite.
Or the pomegranate acai, more with cold in a water bottle. But the orange is really good for breakfast.
Yeah, orange is my favorite, and then fruit punch, and then you can have the acai.
So if you haven't tried it yet, get yourself some, or just hit Alyssa or I up, and we can shoot you out a sample or something.
We have a $10 coupon code that you can use to give it a whirl. All right, David. So we're on to Thirsty Thursday. What's your knowledge share today, or do you want me to go first?
Well, it's interesting because, as you know, if you've been watching our daily show for a little while, I love learning new things. We've talked about learning new things off of, different platforms like YouTube and TikTok. There's all kinds of stuff you can learn from there, especially if you're looking for something, specific to learn. But I want to talk a little bit about our children. Our children, if we can bring them up and teach them and instill in them a healthy curiosity so that they have this thirst for knowledge going forward, I think that would be one of the best things that we can do for our children. Our children really are the future, and they will be picking up the pieces of, all of the, turmoil and trials and tribulations that are happening now. The youngest among us now will be picking up the pieces and putting back together society. I don't want to get it too dark, but I actually think that this is the Tuttle Twins, the Tuttle Times. And if you haven't heard of the Tuttle Twins yet, you have to check into it. Now, Alyssa's got a whole series. And I think she's going to start she's got them too. There's just a series of children's books. And if we can instill, now this one just happens to be about money. And this is the monthly magazine. It talks about the history of money and how money works and federal spending. A couple of kids that are entrepreneurs. So this is a monthly magazine, it's just super small, but it's designed for kids. And the books themselves, Alyssa, tell us a little bit about the books, the Tuttle Twin books.
Yeah, so I bought, it's about 30 books from the Tuttle Twins. And basically they go into great detail of like the Constitution. This one is about Atlas, so like historical, things. And I actually haven't read them yet, but my goal is to create a YouTube show where I can authentically read from these books, plug the Tuttle Twins, because we have nothing to do with the company. I was just turned on to them from our trainer, because we were really complaining about how, it's been a long time since, like, I know I watched the School of Rock, and that's how I learned how a bill was passed and or rejected, and nowadays there is no School of Rock that I know of. And they're not teaching it in school as far as I know, or at least in our area. They're spending a lot of time on other things that are very controversial, I guess you could say. I'm just glad that I don't have a child in school right now, because I would be probably their worst nightmare. But I also feel like reading these books hopefully will get us back to just learning about our rights and our sovereignty and our freedoms of being an American. And it's not even about being a patriot or a Democrat or a Republican. It's about actually knowing the power that we have from our forefathers that fought so hard for us to have it. And, typical, as time goes on, it's pretty typical that the rise and fall of empires happen, based on what we're going through right now is, taking it for granted. And I think our generation is probably the last generation that really, I think, was educated. I think after our generation, they just really stopped. And honestly, like, I homeschooled my daughter off and on, and I feel like I did a pretty good job. We did a lot of history, a lot of history studying. And like I said, I homeschooled her off and on. So she did go to school from 7th grade on, and went to a private school and then School of the Arts and stuff. So it's very interesting. Thinking back as a parent, I didn't have to endure what the current parents are having to. So I think the Tuttle Twins are, segueing this, landing the plane, if you will. I really think that they're trying to get back to the roots of what it is to be an American and the rights that we have, and that a lot of the things are being taken away from us right before our eyes because we're not taking the time to discover our sovereignty and what our forefathers worked so hard to have us so that we can have this life. So, yeah.
Oh, my phone's ringing.
Whoopsie. Cut.
Didn't expect that. Okay, sorry. So, where were we? I lost that last part.
So just the Tuttle Twins, I was just segueing as to why, what the Tuttle Twins are about and what I think like I said, I haven't read deep into them yet. I just know a little bit about them. So I'm going to be doing probably YouTube educating children on.
Perfect. I'm actually super excited that I actually picked this one up. I think I found it on your desk, or at least had it. And so I was thumbing through it, and it's actually really, really good stuff. And this one right here, this history about money, it just has, the history from bartering at 10,000 BC all the way up through, the Depression, how reserve notes were created, and all the way through to cryptocurrency. So I think I might do some sort of a short video that kind of recaps just this page. That's but anyway.
Well, I mean, we are headed into crypto. It is for those that are resistant. It's kind of like, I remember my grandparents being upset about the internet. It's like, the internet is here to stay. Sorry,
it's going to destroy the human race.
So is crypto, and fiat currency is going bye-bye. So, or at least the fiat that we know, that we grew up with and that we're familiar with. So it's kind of like one of those things where you hopefully have learned from how generations before reacted and, dug in their heels. We're not changing. And lo and behold, it's the change is here. So I definitely don't want to be that. Having just turned 51, I know I'm like still young, but I am older. And I definitely don't want to have that kind of attitude, like resist the change that is ultimately happening before our eyes, whether we like it or not. So embrace it. And I feel like we should just get in front of it and use our wisdom and help the transition,
Yeah. Not only embrace the change, but help guide the change.
Yeah.
I think it's important, because if you're not there helping to guide the changes that are inevitable, then you may not like how they, what the changes pan out to be. And so, first of all, accept change. Change happens. You're not going to be able to stop it. Second of all, you may be able to guide it.
Or shape it a little,
Yeah, shape it a little bit.
It depends on, obviously, the subject matter.
At least be aware of it and aware of what's coming down the pike, so that you can at least prepare to go through it and live with it, instead of it hitting you in the face like a surprise. That is not fun for you.
Well, I think, I haven't even gone on Thirsty Thursday, and I believe that we have a lot of great little sound bites out of here in little 3-minute clips or 1-minute clips, but I'm going to move on to my Thirsty Thursday. So the cover has been taken off because of our great grandniece. She has destroyed the cover of The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. So I joined this challenge. It's the summer challenge, 6 days long. You're to read a chapter each day. I have read The Compound Effect before, but this is a good review. And this last chapter, that it's just chapter 2. So he digs right into it. The compound effect in a nutshell is basically those seemingly incidental choices that you make in your day, minute by minute, hour by hour, day by day, actually have a residual compound effect. And it's like watching hair grow. So the point of the compound effect is that your choices do matter, and they will align, if they're aligned, obviously, with your core values and your mission statement. They will take you to the place of your goals and your future desires, but it can take years. And to accept that and to understand that it's not going to happen overnight is part of the journey. And I think that isn't the American way. We want it done tomorrow, like David and I just started working out again. And I'm like, okay, I should have dropped 10 pounds by today. That's not how it works. So he goes into great detail in chapter 2 of 2 different people who both make choices, just tiny little subtle choices. So like one is like, I'm going to make this part up because I want you to read the book for his examples. But basically, like somebody that decides to go on a walk during their lunch break versus somebody that decides to go to Taco Time or McDonald's. So totally not, you wouldn't think would be a big life altering choices. But after 2 years, the person that decided to go on a walk during their lunch break versus the other person that chose what they chose, they continued down that path of those small, little, seemingly incidental choices. But at the end of the 2 years, one is pretty fit, not like gonna go and do a bodybuilding contest or anything like that, but definitely feels good, mentally awesome, got a couple, promotions in their job. The other one, because of the seemingly incidental, choices that they felt weren't that big of a deal. I'm just going to McDonald's, no big deal. Today I'm going to eat, a salad from McDonald's. And then the next day you're into the chicken nuggets, and the next day you're into the cheeseburger. And then you're, so it's that slippery slope. 2 years later, they're up 60 pounds. They're miserable. Their marriage is on the rocks. I mean, and it's interesting because as much as you might think, oh my gosh, that's such an exaggerated version, but it really is true. After 2 years, that literally could be actual facts. But it's 2 years. So, that's the compound effect. So I would challenge you to read the book. He's obviously got it on Audible. So if you're not a reader, I'm doing both. I'm reading the chapter and listening to the audio. And, I already have lived the compound effect pretty much my whole entire life, knowing almost to the point of, I think people judge me by it, which is fine. I don't care that people judge me, but definitely oh, Alyssa's perfect. Everything works out for her. But honestly, it's those little choices. And I do think about them. And I'm not perfect. I make wrong choices, getting out of the habit of working out. It's probably the bane of my existence since I was a child, that is probably the one thing that I know better, but I get out of habit and then I get back into habit. So anyway, that is my Thirsty Thursday information. Compound effect, Darren Hardy.
That's super powerful. Seriously, folks, if you have not read The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy, I strongly suggest, as you know, you should definitely read that. Because here's why. Your life, just like Alyssa said, your life and your lifestyle is generated by primarily by these choices, these tiny little decisions, thousands and thousands of decisions that you make, seemingly insignificantly every day, all day long. And all of these little tiny decisions, some are big, some are small, but they're all little decisions, little by little by little. We all make these decisions, and it creates the life that we're on. But every decision that we make is entirely based on our priorities in that moment, our priorities in that moment of decision. And so, you've heard it said, knowledge is power. Now, if you think about the compound effect and really the power behind what it is and the tiny little tweaks that you make, just being aware of that, gives you an edge above people who do not believe that or are not aware of that. Because once you're aware of it, you can think about it, and you can think about these little decisions. Most of our decisions are made out of habit, and we don't think about it. That's the other thing, is you can create the habits in your life that produce the results and the lifestyle that you want if you know how to create a habit. And it's easy specifically to create a good habit or break a bad habit. You just have to force yourself to do it, but you only have to force yourself to do these things consistently until they become habit. But once you commit your most productive activities to habit, you'll never work another day in your life, but you'll always be productive because these things all happen automatically and you do it without thinking about it. You can craft whatever lifestyle that you want if you're deliberate and diligent about it. Anyway, the good stuff.
And I mean, in closing, I think for those of you that are ultimate achievers, that your compound effect, if you wrap it around your core values and your mission statement, then you're always going to be on track. It's like that beacon, that lighthouse. And Darren Hardy definitely goes into that as well. I think the next couple of chapters are actually on core values, Because if you don't know what you stand for, you don't know who you are, you will be making these subtle, seemingly non-incidental choices, but you're drifting. You'll just be drifting. And all of a sudden, a year from now or 2 years from now, you're going to look back and go, wow, how did I get here? And I don't really like where I'm at. So if you do these everyday compound effect choices based on your core values and your mission statement, you will arrive at a place where you'll be not only happy, but satisfied, and you'll have a great foundation for the next run, if you will. So with that, what do you think, David?
All right. That's Thursday. Hope you guys have a great time. Muller's out. You got this.